for farmers. They get into rice paddies and destroy crops. Villagers often shoot them. Conservationist Dave Johnson of the Denver Zoo has a plan to save the elephants and protect the crops using beehives. He joins my colleague Andrea Dukakis.
Dave, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Andrea. Good to be here.
You first saw beehives being used in elephant conservation in Tanzania. How does it work?
Well, when we were there, I was climbing Kilimanjaro and doing some conservation work, and they use beehives about every 30 meters as a fence to ward off elephants that are trying to get in to eat all their vegetables and their rice and their corn. And it really is just an aggressive way to keep elephants out by scaring them away with the sound of bees.
So they're scared of the bees.
They are. They don't like the sound of the hive. They are scared. They don't want to be stung in their eyes or their ears, and it really wards them off. It's been working great in Kenya. Now it's moved to Tanzania, and we're hoping to have that technology available in Nepal.
So have you been traveling to Nepal to set this up?
Yes, I just got back a few days ago. I'm still on Nepal time. It was my 8th visit, and I take a lot of our community over to kind of entrench them in the conservation work, which is a lot of fun. So, but the beehive work has just come about because last year, part of the fencing that we had established was destroyed by elephants. And one of the villagers that we worked with was killed by elephants. So we wanted to get some new technology in there. So we're going to try to have the bees be a sustainable way to add to the fence and then provide honey for the families to sell at the market. So it's actually a win-win.
Yeah, a way to save the crops, a way to save people, and also save the elephants at the same time. This work in Nepal is just one part of your efforts to save elephants and rhinos around the world. You also take groups to Nepal and Africa to do conservation work. And I should say this is separate from your zoo job. It's through the Denver-based Katie Adamson Conservation Fund. Why do you do this work?
Well, I got involved with animals at a young age. I was really just fascinated by them and driven to work with them in some capacity. And I got a degree in wildlife biology and came to the zoo almost 20 years ago here in Denver. And I just want to keep growing my efforts to help the planet and the animals I take care of. And the best way to do that was to get our community involved in the wild. And so not just taking care of elephants and rhinos here in Denver, but also going abroad and taking our community over there to reach out. By helping the animals and the people of Nepal and Tanzania, you're actually establishing a firm grip on conservation. And you create all these wonderful people. We've taken 96 people over now, and they all come back ambassadors for pachyderms.
Why this devotion to elephants and rhinos specifically?
Well, I started working down in South Carolina with elephants and rhinos after college. And it really is kind of like my career has been kind of love the one you're with, so to speak. I was a bear biologist in Alaska, loved bears, loved wolves, went on to work with the elephants and rhinos in South Carolina and just really got committed to them. Denver had an opening. I came here 19 years ago, and we have a wonderful animal community, and they're so endangered. They need our help. The ivory and rhino horn trafficking has just been increasing, and it's getting scary that in our generation, in our lifetime, these animals could be extinct.
What's going on with the population of rhinos in Nepal?
Happily, the population of rhinos in Nepal is increasing. We had a low number of greater one-horned rhinos of about 200, and they are now at around 3,400. They're only found in India and Nepal. So really only have 2 countries to establish some conservation partnerships in. And Nepal's population has gone from 478 to 645 in the last 4 years. So helping to let the people understand that there are crazy people from America that come over to see their rhinos and elephants is awesome, because live animals are much better than what they can get off of a one-term purchase from ivory or from rhino horn.
And you take these groups to Nepal and Africa. What specifically do you do with them there?
We go over, and it's kind of ecotourism. We raft and canoe and hike and get out in the wilderness. We run from elephants and run from rhinos and dodge cobras. And we have meetings with World Wildlife Fund Nepal. And our biggest partner is the NTNC, which is the National Trust for Nature Conservation. And they're doing all these things, and we're partnering with them. We're building a wildlife vet hospital. We're helping orphaned rhinos. We're building fencing and helping with motorbikes for anti-poaching units. There's so many things we can establish in Nepal, and going annually just helps reinforcing that.
And in terms of the ties, say, between Coloradans and folks there, why is that so important to you in terms of for conservation?
Well, the ties for me are we have Asian elephants and greater one-horned rhinos and black rhinos at our zoo. Colorado people are outdoorsy mountain people, just like they are in Nepal. And there are people that are really green. They want to see the protection, and they want to see these animals thrive. And the people, much like our Colorado community, are very excited about the future. Nepal now has almost 26% of their land protected. So they're doing way better job than even the U.S. in protecting their natural resources. They are really the top country, if you look at it, for protecting wildlife, rhinos, elephants, and the people around them. They have communities around the national parks called buffer zones, and these communities actually help protect their animals. They do anti-poaching runs, and they provide more land for the animals to live in.
Have you seen any changes over the years because of your conservation and because you've been bringing groups over there?
You know, the best way to look at it, when I first started going in 2010, they were suffering from about 10 to 12 rhino being poached annually in Chitwan National Park. And they have had only one poached rhino in the last 4 years. And now the communities fight over their rhinos. They don't even want rhinos moved from Chitwan to Bardia and translocated, because that is what's bringing people like our community over to see them. So it's really interesting in just 7-8 years how much has changed, and the rhinos are being protected much better now.
This is CPR's Colorado Matters. We're speaking with zookeeper Dave Johnson about his conservation work protecting rhinos and elephants in Asia and Africa. You work with rhinos and elephants all the time, but the people you take with you on these trips aren't experts, and these animals can be really dangerous. Have you had any scary moments on these trips?
Well, we've had several scary moments, and you can't be out in the wilds of Nepal and not encounter some hair-raising instances. And we have run from elephants 3 times, and our guides carry little bamboo sticks with them, and that's supposed to help with tiger, cobra, and rhino. And this past year, just 2 weeks ago, we had a lady break her ankle running to see a tiger in Bardia National Park. It's the most severe incident that we've had, and she had to fly back home early for surgery. So we have had some instances, and we have run zigzags, and we've thrown our backpacks down, and but it's all part of our efforts in getting our people out there. Some of them are not zoo-based. Some are parks and wildlife people. Some are just regular people that have come to some of my book signings and want to help.
And the technique for getting away is running in zigzags?
Yeah, elephants and rhinos can outrun you in a straight line, so you're supposed to zigzag and throw your backpack down, which unfortunately means we're training elephants to chase tourists in Nepal. And I've brought that up because the elephants then get your oranges, your apples, your sandwich, your water, and so now they've got elephants that see tourists and actually run towards them. So we actually maybe need to do some better training.
We've posted photos of tourists and locals riding elephants in Nepal. I've heard some elephant advocates don't like that. They don't think it's right to have animals carting around humans. What do you think?
Well, I tell our people every year that you have to suspend some of your Western feelings about elephants. They are an animal over there that is like our horse here in Colorado. You ride them around. They use them for anti-poaching runs. They use them for tourism. They do so much with them. They have a big saddle that will fit maybe 4 tourists on their back, and it's so important to their economy. And just like dog owners and horse owners here in the States, you have some good ones and you have some bad ones. And I want people to realize that elephants are part of their economy. Elephants are part of their family. and it's a huge part of the culture in Nepal. And I think I am privileged to get to ride on an elephant back and be able to help these animals thrive in the wild and support their economy.
You've donated thousands of dollars to build a veterinary clinic in Nepal, and then the earthquake hit. When will it be up and running?
Well, we just got some good news on this trip. January, construction is supposed to start. The vet hospital is for all wildlife in Nepal. It's going to be a $300,000 project now. And we have given almost about $35,000 to help it along the way. And they say it's going to take 1.5 years to build. So as we go back in the next couple of years, we'll get to see it coming up out of the ground and establish some more partnerships. They're going to be doing tests on the cattle and dogs in the area to keep diseases from affecting the wildlife, and we want to be part of this big mission.
Rhinos and elephants are often poached for their horns and tusks. Have there been any new developments in the trade of horns and ivory?
Well, we just had a big CITES convention down in South Africa, and they have not legalized. A lot of the countries want to legalize ivory. They have a lot of ivory stockpiled, but luckily clearer thinking prevailed, and we are trying to help people understand that rhino horn is just made out of keratin. It's like your fingernails or your hair. It does not help you medicinally. It will not cure your cancer, sadly.
Because a lot of folks do use that medicinally and feel that it helps.
They do. We had a Vietnamese cabinet member years ago that said rhino horn cured his cancer, and it's created this trend for everybody to try to use it, and it's actually now worth more than its weight in gold. It is a huge substance that people are using in the black market, and now in some of the East Asian countries, it's a status symbol, and you want to give rhino horn to your friends and have it after a night out of drinking, and they actually use it as a cure for hangovers. So it is just a panacea of cures that it really doesn't do anything for anybody.
Dave, thanks so much for being with us.
You're very welcome.
Denver conservationist Dave Johnson talking about his efforts to protect elephants, rhinos, and other endangered species. He spoke with CPR's Andrea Dukakis. We've posted photos at cprnews.org.